So, Jesus establishes a protocol for family, forgiveness of family, friends, and loved ones. Passage begins if a believer sins against you. A fellow believer is family, friend, and loved one. As Jesus teaches, whoever does the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same as my brother, my sister, and my mother. So, family, friends, brothers, sisters, loved ones, all of this stuff falls within the same construct. We talked about enemies, folks that are outside, and folks that are in our inner circle. You've got a different set of protocols. If somebody is offended, they are instructed to go to the offending party privately to resolve the matter. A lot of us get tripped up right there. We'll say, I'll just chalk it up because we don't want to go and have the confrontation.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to try to go to them. Meanwhile, we start keeping a list. When we chalk it up, and then we chalk it up again, and then we chalk it up again, and then we struggle, frustrated, depressed, struggling, mad, big mad, because we've got this laundry list of debt that we keep saying we're going to chalk up because we will not go to the person and tell them, you hurt me. I trusted you. I counted on you. You fell through. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. You hurt me. Where no claim is established, there can be no forgiveness. We can say we're going to move on, but until you are willing to admit, one, that you feel somebody owes you something, and at the very least go and have that conversation, forgiveness is going to be hard because nobody knows what's owed.
Right, yeah.
Now, we can keep going subliminally and subtly and be passive-aggressive and dance around each other and be in our feelings. And I'm not going to talk to them for the next month, and then they're not going to talk to me for the next month because I didn't talk to them for the next month, and then the month after that, I'm not going to talk. We can play that game and never talk about what's actually going on and never manage to forgive anything. Meanwhile, we still feel like we're owed something and don't want to admit it because we said, I'm going to be the bigger person. Sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself about how you feel and deal with it. People will go cry to coworkers, therapists, Facebook, Twitter, and their mama and end the conversation with, that's all right though, I'm not going to fool with them no more. All while walking around big mad because that offender hasn't even come to apologize to them yet. They won't admit I've been hurt and won't go tell the person what you did hurt me and wonder why they stay sad, depressed, and angry. Some people feel maybe I shouldn't have to go to this offending party because they ought to have enough sense to know what they did. If a brother offends you, go to them privately. Forget about what they're supposed to do. What did we talk about last week about my parents and the way, and forget about what they were supposed to do. What did you do? And if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, you ain't going to be mad. Jesus commands his disciples that if they've been offended by a brother, go to them privately and try to resolve it. In doing so, they're asserting a claim, and hopefully they can find resolution. Where no claim is asserted, there's no room for resolution or forgiveness. If the offending party will not acknowledge the offense, then the offended person is then not to just walk away and say, forget you, and sing a CeeLo Green song, but to go and get one or two witnesses and go back and try it again. Mm-hmm. If that failed, those who don't want nobody in our business have circumvented the process. I'm not going to go get nobody because I don't want nobody in my business. Well, then that's the end of the process. You just foregone your claim. The one or two witnesses, or the two or three witnesses, points back to the biblical law where two or three witnesses are required to take somebody to court. Now, here's where this gets really hard, and if I haven't dropped enough bombs on y'all already. In order to take somebody to court in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew courts, you had to have 2 or 3 witnesses. That was the minimum for any judge to ever adjudicate your claim. If you couldn't get 2 or 3 witnesses, you're done. Case closed. Nothing to do. That can be tough because I know what happened and they know what happened and I was there and they were there and I need somebody. So this is psychologically, subconsciously, sometimes this is why we bounce around talking to everybody but the person, because we're looking for somebody that's going to agree with us, that way we can know that we actually are the reason to be mad. We don't, I mean, yeah, we can say we want to feel better and I just need to get this off my chest, but really what I'm looking for is somebody to say, you know what, you got to be right to be mad. And if my friends don't do it, then they're not my friends no more. If I can't get 1 or 2 witnesses to go with me, then I'm going to go and leave the church and go find somebody else who's going to agree with me and tell me I got to, and I'm going to go start running with them. If in the presence of two, but if you can get a couple people who will go with you and try to mediate, and then that person who offended you still won't act right, that means you got a couple people, you thought you had a claim, you thought somebody hurt you, you went to them, they talked to you, the two of y'all couldn't come to an understanding, so you get a couple of people, help me try to reconcile this thing, and then they talk, and if, you know, the offended party still won't address it, then you take the offended party to the church. And if they won't hear the church's judgment, then you treat them as an outsider or a pagan and a heathen. But that only makes you can't get too excited about that, because we've already talked about how you're supposed to deal with outsiders, pagans, and heathens.